And now, the Daily News for May 10th, 1869. Here in New York is your host, Bob Orange.
Good evening. This is Bob Orange. Breaking news. The Transcontinental Railroad has been completed. It took about 8 years, but it is now finished. For more on this story, let's go to our man on the scene, live from Promontory, Utah, Lem Sowers.
Thanks, Bob. The Transcontinental Railroad is really swag because it will connect the East and the West, making it easier for people to travel everywhere in the country. I see some guy with a big sledgehammer. It looks like he is going to pound something with it. But what? Wait a second, I see something. It's kind of yellow. Wait, is that a lemon? No, I'm gonna save you!
That is a golden spike, Lem, not a lemon. The golden spike is symbolic, and it is going to be the second to last spike hammered. The last one is a boring iron one, but neither are lemons.
Oh, sorry about that, Bob. Well, here's a worker. I will interview him. Hello, worker. What's your name?
I'm Ricky Lime.
So you have just finished working on the Transcontinental Railroad. Can you tell me about the dangers?
Well, one danger is Indians. They are always trying to kill us. We do usually beat them, but they are persistent. Also, sometimes critters slow down work. Some workers like to shoot bison, which slows us down. Also, sometimes our horses, how do I say it on TV? Our horses leave some presents on the tracks, if you know what I mean. Also, the weather can be pretty bad. We've endured plenty of thunderstorms, and I even remember a tornado. Also, this isn't a danger so much, but it did slow us down. Sometimes the workers, they'd up and leave us. It slowed us down so much, I think maybe we would have taken only 7 years to complete the work instead of 8.
What parts did you use? I hope not any lemons.
Well, of course, we used rails. We used ties and ballast, which are the wood planks and the gravel. We used spikes, which look a bit like huge nails to secure the rails. Oh, and we used fish plates, which combine rails and nuts and bolts to keep the fish plates in place.
Oh, fish plates. You mean like this?
No, a fish plate is a flat piece of metal used to connect adjacent rails in a railroad track.
Any other tools? Well, lemons aren't tools.
Well, let's see. We use mauls, which look like sledgehammers and are used for pounding spikes. Also, crowbars, which are used for fixing any mistakes. Somebody asked me to pull up a rail, but I don't have any arms. Tampon bars are used for tampon ballast. It means packing together. Also, we use shovels for getting the ballast wherever it's supposed to go.
Anything else?
You sure are persistent in asking your questions. Well, let's see. We used a rail gauge, which measures the distance between rails. We used iron rail carts for pulling supplies. And of course, we used lemons.
I knew it! Why? Lemon bulb! No! Help!
Sorry about that, partner. I was just kidding.
Okay. What do you do when you're not working?
Well, we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also, sometimes we could rest on the Pioneer train. It's like a bunch of houses on wheels. I only got to go to it twice, when somebody wanted to eat me, and when I managed to roll them all onto a spike. Anyway, I gotta go now. Bye!
Well, now that we finished the interview, let's talk a little more about the Transcontinental Railroad. Okay, what do we have here? The Transcontinental Railroad helped people get across the country very easily. It boosted communication speed. It would take 6 weeks for people to get across the country. With the Transcontinental Railroad, it only took 6 days. It was also much less dangerous to travel on it than, let's say, a covered wagon. Without the Transcontinental Railroad, it would have taken much longer for cities to be established in the West.
Good, Lem. I will take over now. The Transcontinental Railroad went from Omaha, Nebraska to Sacramento, California. There were 2 companies, the Central Pacific and the Union Pacific. They were rivals. They sometimes even attacked each other. The Central Pacific started in Sacramento and built east. Union Pacific started in Omaha and built west. The meeting point was Promontory Point, or as they called it back then, Promontory Summit. Abraham Lincoln signed the Pacific Railway Act, which made the Transcontinental Railroad supported by the government. He also paid money to the companies after they had done a certain length of track.
Okay, Bob, is that everything?
Yes, but we have to do the credits and stuff.
Bye, people. Let's hope I get eaten last.
I would show you all the other stuff that happened, but it's all really boring stuff. See you next time.